What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Wednesday night's late night agenda, where the transfer window has really kick-started for the Reds. Tonight we're going to be talking about Bajcetic's future, Tyler Morton's future, Federico Chiesa, a little bit more MIDFIELDER. We're going to be telling you why Chelsea could be in a bit of trouble as well. That and lots more over the next couple of hours. We'll also be bringing you not the Champions League draw, that's tomorrow, although we will be bringing you that tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We will be giving you the Carling Cup or the League Cup draw as well. Carabao Cup these days, Craig. Get with the programme. Right, an early super chat that I got to get up on the screen that was here before we even went live. Said, glad Morton looks like he's staying. Gravenberch could be our number 6, but he's also made of glass. He gets injured, then what? With Tyler, a local lad, will run through walls for us and can rotate with Gravenberch. And thank you, Essex Copboy. As well, hope your mum is doing well, mate. Hope that she's recovering after her little bout in the hospital. So do hope that life is improving in that regard. And thank you for your super chat. Right, I just want to quickly fly through these before I get stuck into my own bits and pieces. Adam, thank you for your super chat. Said, this has been a great day between it being my birthday and then getting the Chiesa. Here we go. A great birthday gift from the club. Well, Adam, happy birthday, my man. Many happy returns to you. It is great getting the information on Chiesa as well. But I have to say, we still got to be honest and say we haven't got a centre-back and midfielder in this window. So this is nice in its own regard, but it isn't solving the problems that we felt we had coming into the window. So we'll talk about that tonight as well. Another super chat, this time from Monster_M, said, how am I doing tonight? Well, I'm good. Really good, yeah. Happy. Looking forward to the madness over the next 48 hours, because honestly, I don't know what we could be seeing over the next 48 hours. Strap yourselves in and we'll see if we can figure it out. Right, Seba said, couple of weeks back I mentioned one, Richard Rios. He's now on Liverpool's radar, but Palmeiras are making it difficult. I believe he's fit, CDM, CM. I've seen a couple of reports, Sebas, mentioning Richard Rios actually. So, and you did bring it up. I'll give you credit where it's due, my friend. Now, my part of it I failed in, bro. I didn't get a chance to really check in on him and have a look about him. But you are right, he has been mentioned, and we will keep an eye on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, happy Federico Chiesa Day. As you've seen, he's done his medical, or part of it. He's landed, he's in Liverpool. He's talking about his future when he was leaving Turin as well. Said him and his family are looking forward to what the future has in store. And look, I'm both happy and nervous today. Of course I'm happy about the Chiesa deal. Of course I'm happy about the deal for MIDFIELDER. But I can't lie, we still have to sort out the two biggest areas of contention in this window. And I feel like some people are now starting to talk themselves in to us having a solution in Tyler Morton or whatever at number 6. And look, maybe I'm wrong on Tyler Morton, but I'm not ready to say that he is the solution to number 6. Although a loan move doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Bajcetic far more likely to depart. We'll talk about that tonight as well. Wanted Chiesa for a few years, said PC Drat. Love the price. It's hard not to love the price, mate. You know, 10 million quid, 2 million in add-ons, or 2.5 million in add-ons. I'm going to talk about his wages tonight as well a little bit, which is a lot lower than has been reported over the last few days. Not his wages at Liverpool, but the wages he was coming from Juventus at. Andrew Webb, thank you for your super chat, my man. Said, would love to come see the live show, but got autism and suffer from social anxiety. Well, there will be many people at the live show, my friend, who are in the same boat as your good self. And if you would like to come along and you need any additional assistance, be it coming into the venue early, getting settled in beforehand, anything like that, Andrew, honestly, mate, reach out to me. We'll make it happen. Look, if you want to come to the show, I want to make sure it can be as comfortable as experience as possible for you. I'll leave it with your good self, mate. But if we can make it feasible for you in any way or help you with the anxiety around it, just ask, mate, and I'll do my very best. We've done it for other people in the past, and again, happy to do it for your good self, Andrew. Adam Moore said, Craig, I really like the Chiesa deal. Do you think we sign anybody else? And that is, I guess, the $64,000 question at the minute, Adam, isn't it? Will we sign anybody else? And the truthful answer, as I say here right now, is I don't know, mate. I really just do not know. There are people who I respect saying that there's still stuff in the works, so let's wait and see what happens. I mean, this is the time of night we usually get the juicy stuff anyway, which is why I look forward to the streams. But I'm going to take you through what I know so far, and then we can try and figure out together what we can expect over the next, 48 hours or so. Stevie Boy said, poor transfer window, no contract renewals, no centre-back, no DM. I rate this window 3 out of 10. So, funnily enough, that's exactly where I'd rate the window as well. It is, to me, a 3 out of 10 window, Stevie Boy. It is, and I can't lie. Very same reasons as you, with one slight exception. The contract renewals, I never really expected to get done inside the transfer window. I think Liverpool have their focus on transfers at this moment in time, and after the window closes, I would expect progress on, well, at least some information on what's happening with Trent, Virgil and Mohamed. So, apart from that, I'm on the same page as you. 3 out of 10 sounds about right to me. Here's how I look at it, Stevie Boy. We went into this window, mate, with 3 objectives. A utility forward was being mentioned quite a bit. I say we can tick that box with Chiesa. A centre-back and a midfielder were the 2 other areas, and the 2 most important areas for me. And so far, and I have to say so far because things can change, we haven't sorted those positions. So I'm right with you in it being an underwhelming window overall. David Massett, this deal is like the Shaqiri deal price-wise. 100%. This is what I said for the last 2 days, mate. Absolutely 100% worth the risk. The risk-reward ratio on this one, to me, is a no-brainer. So, yeah. Let's wait and see. I'm excited by Chiesa. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, very happy with the business that we have done. But I've got to talk about the bigger picture as well, which is the business that we haven't yet done. Alex McCall, will we get Bruno? Now, he means Guimaraes, not Fernandes. I don't think so, in all honesty. Unless there's something I'm missing out on here, I don't know that deal will get done. I just don't. I don't know anything about it, so let's wait and see. Wes Roberts said, I worry that they see this as the Salah replacement. So, I can sympathise with where you're coming from, Wes. I don't know how they view this deal. I don't. Nor do I know if they look at this as Mo's long-term replacement. But I will say to you this. Either way, if it works out and he does well, we can talk about whether we need another forward or not when Mohamed Salah's situation with the club is sorted out. But on the face value of it right now, and that's all I can take it at, I think this is a good piece of business. One that I'm certainly well on board with, and one that I think falls neatly into that opportunistic category. So, if it is the Salah replacement, I promise you, mate, we'll be talking about that down the line. But as of right now, I can only take it at face value, which just seems like a good, solid piece of business. Riding the Storm. Loving the channel, Craig. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. And look, if you are enjoying it as yourselves, remember, do hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the stream as well. Let's see if we can get ourselves to keep that 1,000 like record going for the live streams. Aaron Staunton, how are you, bro? Said, Gomez not in the Wolves squad after signing Andre. You know, I love your bit of detective work there, mate. And look, for those of you who aren't aware, Wolves look like they are going to sign Andre Trinidad from Fluminense. That has been reported by Fabrizio Romano tonight as well. So maybe you're right, mate. Maybe there's nothing to it. But I guess we're going to find out soon. Anthony Packer, I watch every day from Vancouver. Love this show. Mate, you are making me so proud and happy. Honestly, I've had some lovely emails over the last few days from people from Australia, Nigeria, America, Canada, all reaching out, sharing their own story about the channel, how they came to watch it, what the community means to them. I'm living someone else's life at the minute. Honestly, I'm incredibly proud of where we're all at. And do you know what? I got a lovely email today from somebody, and I'm not going to say who they are because these things should be private. But they said to me, Craig, I'm going to be honest with you. I seen clips of you, and I thought you were an angry arsehole, for want of a better phrase. But I came across and tried the show. I enjoyed the show, and I realised very quickly that isn't who you are. They're just specific moments in time. So I really do appreciate all of that, and all of these kind sentiments, because that is what we're about on here. We are about bringing people together. But I know and understand that people can look at the channel and go, maybe this guy looks like a bit of a lunatic. I get that. I would see that impression of me and understand it as well. I think I've missed the super chat from somebody here. 1 second. Where was it? Mark said Andrew sent another super chat. Where was this one? I'm trying to find that other super chat from Andrew. 1 second. Andrew Webb. I've done that one. Sorry, I'm still trying to find this other super chat from Andrew. It's not come through on my end. Oh, hang on. There you go. There we go. Sorry, I found it now. Thank you, Mark. We'll take you up on the offer. How do I contact you for the support? So, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Andrew, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Reach out, mate. I promise you, we've done it for other people. Maybe I don't want to out them in the chat because I believe everyone deserves their privacy. But I will make sure, mate, you are as comfortable as possible. If it means letting you in before the doors open, make sure you get settled. I promise you, we will do our utmost to make sure it's an enjoyable experience for you, my friend. Aaron Staunton, how are you, bro? Said, Gomez not in Wolves squad. We've done that one. Sorry, I'm still playing catch up here. Anthony, I've done that one. Mike Johnston, how are you, Mike? I'm in Vancouver as well. Let's get Gomez. Look at this, Vancouver in the house tonight. Love it. Well in, lads. Right, so I'm going to give you what I know and where we're at the minute. So, here we go. The interesting story over the past few hours has been Barcelona's attempt to hijack the loan deal that was going to take Stefan Bajcetic over to Red Bull Salzburg. Barca have come in via Thiago to try and steal a march. They had a young central defensive midfielder do an ACL in yesterday's game. So they're coming in to try and bring in Stefan Bajcetic. And you know what? Initially, I was thinking, oh, that could be great for Stefan. But you know what? The more I've sat here and thought about it, the more I think he should pass up the Barcelona opportunity and go to Salzburg. They're also in the Champions League. He'll be working with a coach that will genuinely have his best interests at heart in Pep Linders. He won't be overplayed or sacrificed or thrown under a bus if other players become available. I think he'll get the minutes that he desires. And if I'm him and I'm Liverpool, I'm trying to edge him towards going to sorry, I've distracted myself. Going to Salzburg over Barcelona. People are trying to guess about the number for Chiesa. I mean, 14 seems the obvious choice. We talked about this one last night. I've no confirmation on it, but I do have confirmation on one thing. The number that was being reported for his wages at Juventus, Federico Chiesa, is simply not true. So we'd seen a lot of talk over the last day or two that he was on 160, 180 grand a week at Juventus. That isn't what their published accounts or what their actual accounts show up at. So his wages, according to the official Juventus figures, and again, credit the Echo for this, I want to give credit where it's due, stand at €5 million per year, which is about £80,000 a week. Now, I'm sure Liverpool are going to up that a little bit, but it isn't a ridiculous wage. So even if Liverpool bring him in on £100,000 a week, I think all in, that is a very good deal. Atikster, how are you, bro? Love and respect from Bahrain, if you know where my country is. So, I know of your country, sir. I certainly have heard lots of good things about people who've been to Bahrain, and I mean that sincerely. And myself and my family really do want to visit that part of the world. My son is obsessed with the idea of going over towards Dubai or that area of the woods. And I would truly love to come visit. I just haven't had a chance yet to come and visit that part of the world. But honestly, I really am excited by the prospect of it. Even what's going on in Saudi, I've looked at it from just a tourism perspective and what's happening there with regards to sport and whatever our own opinions on it. I take people as I find them, and I take individuals as I find them. And some of the architecture and some of the stuff I've seen in Bahrain or in Saudi or in Dubai, it looks incredible and certainly worth a visit on a personal level, and I hope to get there someday soon. No, there's definitely somebody's asked, is it nips out time? That's definitely not the case yet. So here's something interesting. The Times Sport have just reported Chelsea are facing a challenge to comply with UEFA's financial rules after the European governing body confirmed that it does not allow clubs to register income from selling assets to other sister companies. Remember, Chelsea sold themselves a hotel. Well, they could be the Premier League, let that slide, but UEFA, they could be holding them to account on it. So keep an eye on this situation over the next few days, because they are in the Europa Conference League this season, so they do have to fall under UEFA's rules. Is the medical done, or we have another Fekir incident? So the medical won't be a problem. I wouldn't worry about the medical. Chiesa has had a good season last season, where he's come off and played 37 games, 37 games for Juventus. So I don't foresee the medical being a problem, nor have I been told of any issues with the medical. So let's just wait and see when the club announces. This is going to happen. You know, this isn't going to be one of those deals that falls apart. The player's already spoken, said his goodbyes to Juventus. Him and his family are over having a look. And yeah, look, I'm buzzing for this one. But I don't want to be the merchant of doom. But we still do have two areas that we need to address in this window. And this is all enjoyable distractions, but it isn't what we need to get done. So I want to ask a question in a poll tonight before I get stuck into some more of your comments and that super chat from Liz. Just 1 second. What way do I want to ask this? Hang on. Okay. Bear with me while I just type this out, folks. Okay, so what I'm asking is, are you going to be happy if Chiesa and Georgi Mamardashvili are our only signings in this window? I'm very intrigued to see how people feel about this, because for me, I have very strong feelings on my answer. Right, again, Liz, thank you for your super chat, my friend, all the way over from Florida as well. Hope you're well. Can we laugh at Chelsea? I think we can, Liz. I think we can. Shall we? Are you ready? Everybody at home, let's all laugh at Chelsea. 1, 2, 3. Todd. They're in the Conference League as well, though, Liz, so that's worth a little chuckle as well. Danny, how are you, my friend? Said Craig, hope you're well. Agree with you on Bajcetic, better at Salzburg. The whole point is for him to get playing time. Exactly. Playing time, conditioning, guidance, and I would view Salzburg and Pep Linders as a way better option for him to get all of those things. And that interest has been there a while. Barca are desperate right now because they picked up a last minute injury last night. So I would say that that's triple T. Tough titty Circleton. By the way, Trent hasn't played 90 minutes since a Bradley debut. What's mad? He subbed last game. I'm wondering if he's lying to himself to reject that renewal. Well, on the renewal, he can't reject what he hasn't been offered yet. I've seen that from a lot of people talking about Trent's headed. He hasn't been offered a renewal yet. So I expect this to be done when the window shuts. That's all I can say. If it isn't done, I promise you, I'll be on here like everybody else, giving my 2 cents worth and arguing, because it would be a catastrophic failure not to get Trent signed up. In fact, it would be one of the most stupid decisions or circumstances that I've seen in my life supporting Liverpool. Stargirl said, I have to say, our third kit, I love our third kit. I want a shirt. I would love it if it didn't have the Nike thing turned. Now, I understand that it's to highlight the growth in women's sport and women's football, and I'm all for that. I just still don't like it visually that it's turned sideways. But other than that, I think it's a rather smart new kit, and you guys have probably seen it has been officially unveiled over the last 48 hours. I'll let you guys make up your own minds on it. It gives me sort of United vibes in some ways as well, though. 777 IMH. Remember our 50 quid Zubimendi bet? I believe I won it. What's the charity you're going to keep it to? Keep up the great work. I don't remember the exact ins and outs of the bets. I do remember putting a bet on with you, and absolutely you named the charity and I will pay it. But just remind me again what the bet was. If you say I've lost it, I well believe I've lost it. But I don't remember the exact ins and outs of it. So you tell me exactly what the bet was and which charity you would like the money donated to, and it will be absolutely my pleasure to make that happen, bro. If you want to email me to say if you're having the super chat or at, contact at AnfieldAgenda.com. If I lose a bet, mate, I pay up. No problem whatsoever. And thank you for the reminder as well. Jason70 said, Happy Chiesa Day, sir. Watching from Dublin. Love your channel. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it. Especially having one of our own at Dub watching us as well. We do appreciate that. And I hope life is treating you well, Jason. Essex Copbite said, the two pieces of news, bro. My little girl is home at last and on the Oralite, hopefully on the road to recovery. That's awesome. I'm so glad that your young lady is at home on the Oralite, just making sure she gets those vital fluids in. I understand that. That's so good. I'm so happy to hear that, mate. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for everything, mate, over the last week or so. It's been lovely getting to know you and seeing you in the chat. Playing from Liverpool to Salzburg tomorrow, said Casper's Photography. So there we go. It does look like, most likely then, Stefan is headed over to Salzburg, which I think is a better move. I really do. And Barcelona should suffer the consequences of their actions. I really lost a lot of respect for Barcelona over the last few years. Thanks for what you do. Do you think Liverpool viewed Chiesa as a Mo replacement 6 years ago? The red kit is starting to grow on me. Oh, don't do that to me about the kit, bro. I hate that kit. Honestly, I do. Just the colour just disgusts me. But do I think we viewed him as a Mo replacement 6 years ago? Well, no. We wouldn't have been looking to replace Mo all that time ago. 2 to 3 years ago, we were looking at him, us in Chelsea. You were talking about €100 million, about £80 million at that time. So, I don't know if he's a Mo replacement for now. I can't answer the question honestly, so I don't know. All I want to do is see how he gets on with us and go from there. You know, if he's successful and starts doing well, then we've got good problems. So let's wait and see how he gets on in his first season. And Casper's Photography said it's Chiesa's plane too. Nice. Look, makes sense. You know, Liverpool have to move quickly to get this stuff done. So that tells me one thing though, actually, weirdly. So if that was the plane Liverpool sent over to bring Federico Chiesa over to Liverpool, I wonder, does that mean no more international signings before the window shuts? Because if we're loaning the plane again to send Bajcetic over to Salzburg for his medical or whatever, I wonder then, does that mean that if we do any more business, it's going to be local business or UK business? Maybe I'm clutching at straws there, but let's wait and see. Glad to hear the little girl is home, said David Massey. Yes, and I apologise. I mistakenly said your mother. I swear somebody had a problem. Someone's mum was ill recently as well. So apologies on that one, mate, about it being your daughter. But I'm glad she's home with you. Can we all agree 12 million for Chiesa is insane? Absolutely. It's great business. And that's what I want to be honest and upfront about. I'm really happy with the two bits of business we've done. I don't have a single complaint about signing Chiesa or signing Mamardashvili. I think on their own, uniquely, very good signings, and I commend the club for getting them done. But I still want my defender and my midfielder, and that's how this window will ultimately be judged. For me, anyway. Can Chiesa play against United? If he's registered before Friday. So I think the cut-off point is 2 full days beforehand. So if he's registered before Friday at, let's say, lunchtime, then he could technically be in the squad. Now, I don't expect him to play because he hasn't been playing for Juventus, and I would imagine that we're going to ease him in gently. So he may be there, he may travel with the team, but I'd be surprised if he gets into the squad that quickly, having not played football this season. Because obviously Thiago Motta didn't have him as part of his plans at Juventus. Watching from Saskatchewan. I did my best there, Steve. I mean, That's one of the more difficult areas to pronounce there. So I'm taking that as a semi-W. So this is the question. This question here from Jamie is the question that I'm trying to find answers to more than any other, my friend. And the question is, hi Craig, do we sign a centre-back after Chiesa? The honest answer to that question is I do not know. If you're asking me for a gut feeling on it, no. Because I'm not hearing anything about Joe departing. And as much as I still think we need that player, unless we hear something more concrete on Joe moving, I would be surprised if we see Liverpool make the plunge or take the plunge. I hope we do. I think we need to. But right now, I really just don't know. I'm hoping. But I got to be honest as always and say, I just don't know. I don't want to fill anyone with false hope. Or I don't want to be overly negative. I just don't know at the minute. I know you're a busy man, but do you ever get a chance to read my book I sent you a copy of? Do you know what? I haven't. I haven't, mate. Sorry. It is part of a reading list I have to get through. And I do apologise because I really appreciate that you took the time, sent it to me to share your thoughts. Or for me to share my thoughts. And I do apologise. I'll take it on holidays with me next week and I'll give it a read then. But I appreciate you sending it to me as well, and I'm sorry I haven't got a chance to read it yet. But believe it or not, I've got 4 or 5 other books as well that I haven't had a chance to read. But thank you again. Hi Craig, what are your thoughts on Anthony Taylor as the match official for Sunday? Huge game for us and Arna from Cliff in Mayo. I think it is again angering, really, really angering, Cliff. Look. I'm sure Anthony Taylor's a stand-up guy. I'm sure Anthony Taylor has absolutely no want or desire to sway in either way. But I still think putting a Greater Manchester referee in charge of a game between a team from Manchester and Liverpool is not a good look. So from everything else, just the perspective of it from the outside, it invites people to start questioning the loyalties here. So I just think it's an avoidable mistake, and I just hope that we don't have any big incidents that we have to look to Anthony Taylor to question. Essex Copite said, second piece of news is really exciting. I want to one day become a Senko, and I've been taken on as an apprentice at a local nursery, preschool, depending on where you are. So excited and wanted to share my online family. Oh, dude, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And I hope that it goes to plan. And I hope that you get to live and follow your dreams. I've had so many lovely stories from people over the past day or two about chasing their dreams, going and backing themselves in jobs, changing jobs to a job they've always wanted to try. I'm so proud of you all. And I thank you for sharing your positive stories with us and, as you said, your online family, because it does mean a lot to me. I love sitting, reading these things and finding out that you guys are taking chances in life, chasing your dreams. It means a lot. Isn't Darwizzy the sexiest man alive? What a bagger. So, I've had this argument with my wife, and I'm not even joking. I can't understand how she doesn't think he's handsome. I can't. I refuse to believe it. Because I look at him and I think, handsome dude. So yeah, he is. But my wife doesn't agree, unfortunately. The Leipzig centre-back. I'd take anyone, said Casper's Photography. Right, so let's talk about Mo Simican for a minute, because that is the centre-back that you are alluding to. And the only thing that I've really seen today came from Florian Plettenberg around Mo Simican. Is that Newcastle are now also exploring the possibility of a deal to sign him. Barcelona and Liverpool were other clubs that were mentioned, and he also said there's concrete interest from Saudi Arabia. Goes on to say Leipzig are open to negotiations about the defender, but only for suitable offers. That's all I know. Mo Simican is definitely a name that many of us have spoken about, particularly actually you guys in the chat. And as I've said all the way through this summer, I've been entirely honest, I do not have any insight into the centre-back chase. I don't have a clue. I wish I did. I wish I could come on and say to you, yes, if Joe leaves, we're going to do X or Y. One thing that was sent to me a while ago was interesting, actually. Where was it? It was on Liverpool's interest in Mark Gay from Crystal Palace, saying that Liverpool may look at him next year if he stays, something like that. CH, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Right, have a look, top corner. 228 subscribers away from 273. If you haven't subscribed, folks, please do. We're going to give you the Carling Cup draw later, or the Carabao Cup draw later on tonight. That's taking place about 10:15. Right now, I'm going to try and fill you in on where we're at. So Matt Thielen, who's one of the founders of LFC Transfer Room, said Liverpool have no intention of selling Nunez to Arsenal. However, sources close to LFC Transfer Room say that forward was indeed interested in the move. Now, this hasn't come from Darwin's side, so we have to take it with a pinch of salt. But the idea that Darwin was open to leaving Liverpool to go to Arsenal, it doesn't sit well with me. Because I feel he owes us more of an effort. Darwin got the move. It isn't Liverpool's fault that Darwin has had the frustrating campaign that he had last year, albeit his numbers were still respectable enough. I hate hearing things like that. I hate it. I know London is attractive. I get it. But he's at a club where he has to prove himself right now. A bigger club than Arsenal. You might say Arsenal are in a better position to win the league, and that's a fair point. But Liverpool are a bigger club than Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. So, if he wants to prove it in the Premier League, then he should be backing himself to prove it with Liverpool. And if he can't see himself wrestling the shirt away from Diogo Jota, then we have bigger issues. So, it's over to Darwin now. He's the one that has the making up to do. He's the one that needs to prove those doubters wrong. And if he can do that, brilliant. If he can't, again, it's on him. Michael Lynch said, just an update on me going working for myself. Best thing I've ever done. And always follow your dreams. Big love to all. Again, mate, yes, do. What's the worst case scenario? You fail at something. So what? It's being afraid to fail. That's a problem. Look at successful people in this world and talk to many of them. They've probably had 10 failures before they got to that one thing that worked. So keep taking shots. Keep trying. Keep chasing your dreams. And you absolutely never know. Did I think that I would ever be sitting here running a YouTube channel talking to people around the world about the Reds? Not a chance. But yeah, here we are somehow. So I'm glad to hear that, Michael. And again, keep doing it. Good feeling we get another player. Kimmich, question mark, said Casper's Photography. I hope we get another player. I do. I just don't know. You know, lots of people have said to me to expect madness over these last 2 days. People whose opinion I respect. So, I'm strapped in and ready to go. Let's just wait and see what happens. Right, so this was from Anfield Edition. They said, Mark A is a target for Liverpool, but not this transfer window, and not for £70 million. If the defender remains at Crystal Palace, the Reds may make a move next summer. So, there's two things about that concern me, quite frankly. First part is, when I spoke with David Lynch, the information that David had been given was that, yes, Liverpool, of course, looked at Mark A, but they didn't feel he was the right type of profile, particularly aerially, for the way we wanted to play. And I don't understand in what world we think he's going to be cheaper next summer when he'll probably be a more established English international with a higher profile. And if they wouldn't sell this summer at 70 to Newcastle, I just don't think there's much sense to that. It doesn't add up to me, other than, again, the promise of next year, which I'm sick of hearing regarding any. And I'm not going into Miguel Delaney here, by the way, but I don't believe anything. Anything. David Leslie said, can you mention the money raised for Greater Manchester Blood Bikes? It was nearly £300 in cash and over £800 on the Just Giving page, which is still live. So remember the other day we spoke about our friends and we promoted that we're doing the blood bikes. They transport blood to hospitals in urgent need. They raised £1,100 all in, as our friend David Leslie has said here, and congratulations to them. We're so proud of them. The Just Giving page is still there. If you want to share the link in the chat, David, go ahead. But again, we do appreciate you giving us the update as well, mate. Thank you. Jonathan Kirkley said, could Chiesa be our Zola? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, mate. We've had a bit of a mixed bag signing Italians, but hopefully. I hope he feels like he has a point to prove, Chiesa. You know, people are talking about the ACL and saying that maybe injuries are going to plague his career. He's already clocked up a speed of 33 or 34 kilometers an hour since that ACL on the pitch. So I think this is just a great piece of business. I do. Even if he doesn't hit the heights that he was once believed to, any contribution or minutes that he can give Mo a rest, or any little bits and pieces we can get from him, I think at this price it's a bargain. Sorry, Craig, I missed the midfielder chat. Any news? We're only moving on to it now, mate. We haven't actually got stuck into it yet. So there is people whose opinion I respect who say keep an eye on this situation. Liverpool are trying to do a couple of things, and midfield is an area a couple of people have mentioned to me. But the reason I don't really go into more detail on a few is I don't know names, nor do I want to give people false hope. At this point of the window, I think my job here is to just react and give you guys what's happening rather than what might happen, because it's, how do I say this in a phrase that might, it's time to shit or get off the pot. It's full duck or no dinner. That's it. That's what we have to do now. And the next 48 hours for me are going to decide whether this window has been a failure or acceptable. And right now, I feel it's a failure, even with Chiesa and Mamardashvili. And I'm going to look at the chat in a minute to see what the poll is showing. Used to move through London for work. Place is a hole, said Joe McDougall. London scares me as well, mate. Although not particularly London. Any big cosmopolitan city scares me because I'm not a city person. I like a bit of quietness. So yeah, London wouldn't appeal to me, or neither would New York as an example. I like a bit of downtime, a bit of quiet space. So we've nearly had 3,500 votes on this, and I love it. I love that you guys are as ballsy as I am. We asked, are you happy if Federico Chiesa and Georgi Mamardashvili are the only signings in this window? And so far, 77% have said no, not happy. And you're right not to be, because it isn't good enough. They're good pieces of business on their own merit, but it doesn't address the concerns we had in the window and the issues we had in the window. This story is annoying. So Leipzig are monitoring Antonio Silva, and negotiations ongoing between Benfica and Leipzig over a loan and a mandatory option to buy. The defender is open to going to Leipzig. He would have been at the very tippity top with Branthwaite for my centre-back choices. And if he can go to Leipzig, surely to God Liverpool could have gotten a deal for Antonio Silva for a reasonable fee. Because if Leipzig can afford it, even with a loan first, surely we can afford him. Asentino said, love that we have the time to let Chiesa adjust. Italian players need time to get accustomed to the Premier League. Hughes is a last day buyer. Look, again, Asentino, mate, I have no issues around this deal whatsoever. And like yourself, I think, and I've always said this, it's better to give somebody a chance to settle in. I don't know if he's the Mo replacement or if we're going to move next summer for somebody else. I would hope we move for somebody else as well. But right now it gives us competition. It gives us the availability to rest Mo more often. And that is a good thing for the squad harmony and the squad availability overall. So yeah, this, on its own merits, as I've said, a great deal for Liverpool Football Club. So, we're one like away. Just the one. Amazingly, from 1,000. Do hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. And I got to give you a quick update on this, because the show in Liverpool, we're now up to almost 50% of the tickets being gone in the first 10 days to 2 weeks. If you want to come along and see us, you can get your tickets with the link pinned to the top of the chat or in the description of the stream. When these sell out, if indeed they do, we're not moving it to the bigger theatre. We want this one. This is the one we've wanted to do all along. So about 50% of those tickets are gone. If you'd like to come and see us, you can get them. It's an all ages event. And we're going to have a musical act, a comedian, and then us on for the night. We're going to make sure we put on a bigger, better, noisier show than the last time. And we really appreciate those who've already got their tickets and look forward to coming over to Liverpool November 15th. Right, here we go. Squeaky clean. 6 months with this amazing community. It's flown by. Also, as soon as I stopped my comment streak, we signed another player. WFM, big up Craig. So Squeaky Clean has been posting every day in our videos. Where's the money, John? Every day, 1, day 2, day 3, all the way up. And I love it. I've always had a little chuckle when I seen those comments. WFM said, Mike, still loving this community even 13 months later. It really is so amazing to see you guys in that long with us, supporting the channel, supporting the community. It means a lot, Mike. Thank you. Right, I want to get into some normal chats as well, because I don't want the people to feel like I just read super chat. So, right, have we got? It's not the amount of transfers, it's who. A keeper that we don't need and a midfielder that's 30 plus and doesn't play. Huh? Who's the midfielder who's 30 plus and doesn't play? Chiesa's 27, played 37 games last year, and is in as an option across the front line. A goalkeeper who we don't need, I would argue that's wrong. Because let me paint you a different picture. Let's say next summer, Alisson Becker decides he wants to go. And I have no proof that that's going to happen or won't happen. But let's just admit for a second it might. If he decides he wants to go, and the world knows Liverpool need a goalkeeper, everyone's going to put their price up, and the pressure is going to ratchet up on Liverpool. So this, to me, is an incredible deal. It even takes the pressure off the Kelleher situation. Because Kelleher next summer, if he goes, we already have somebody to come in and battle with Alisson. Honestly, I'm somebody who loves moaning about the transfer window, and I will continue to about the positions we haven't filled. But for me, mate, I think that was a great signing. And Chiesa, as I said, not 30, 37 games played last year. And look, give him a chance. At this price, it's worth the risk. Essex Copbite said, I have a question, Craig. If we get a centre-back and stick with Gravenberch and give Morton a shot, would you be happy? What I think is, if Morton wasn't at least good, why would teams like the German champs want them? So, really, really good point. And a really good question. So, I have to admit that I do have a little bit of bias, because Morton has been in the Championship on a couple of loans. And I've always thought, is he really at that level for Liverpool? But here's the kicker for me. We wanted Zubimendi. So whatever else we're going to say, the club wanted to go and strengthen in that position for whatever reason. I don't believe that over the course of a couple of weeks, Tyler Morton will have changed opinion on that. So I still think we do need to bring in that central midfielder. You are absolutely correct that if these clubs want him, the kid obviously must have something about him, which is a very fair point. And I'm open to him getting minutes this season if he stays. I still just feel we need that right here and now. Drop him into that midfield. Good enough to play the minute he arrives. Number 6, specialist. That's how I am on this one. But if over the course of the year Morton gets his chances, takes his chances and looks good enough, then maybe missing out on Zubimendi will have been a blessing in disguise. But there's a lot of mental gymnastics to get over there first, and a lot of hypotheticals, and a lot of hoping everything goes well. Hoping hasn't worked out well for us in the past. So I'm a little bit sceptical, but I do fully appreciate where you've come from. And with the centre-back, I think we need one. Right now, that will be the top priority for me. Centre-back and then the number 6. Because we've got bodies in midfield. We don't really have bodies and depth at centre-back. We know Nat Phillips isn't good enough. Gomez, we don't know what's going to happen there. But even at 4, even with Gomez, Canade, Virgil and Kwanzaa, I still think you're a little light. I'd like one more. Victor said, what do you think of Kimmich? 5 months, let's go. Well, firstly, thank you, Victor, for being with us for that 5 months. Kimmich is a solid... Look, you know what? To go back to Essex Copbite's question, if you brought in a Joshua Kimmich as an example, somebody who's at the latter part, not the very end, but the latter part of their career, that wouldn't block the pathway longer term for somebody like a Tyler Morton. So that could be an understandable solution. Again, it feels like we're coming back to a cheaper solution here, like with Endo last year. It could serve a purpose, it could do a job. But in this case, if we're really talking about Tyler Morton maybe being good enough, then I think a Kimmich would at least give us that chance to look. I hope that makes sense. It did in my head, anyway, Victor. It did in my head. Craig, I hope you're well. Formerly Team Shark Meg. I remember that name. Hard to change that. I worry with Gravenberch learning on the job in the number 6, especially versus top teams. So, there's a lot of people who've been talked into people being good enough over the last few weeks. I go back to the start of this summer's transfer window, when all of these players were assessed and decisions were made that some of them are good enough and some of them weren't. And whatever way we want to dress it up, Ryan Gravenberch is not the absolute perfect number 6 that Slot wanted, or we wouldn't have gone in for Zubimendi. He couldn't be moulded into it. He could certainly do a job there, but my view is we wanted a central midfielder. We need to get a central midfielder, and nothing I've seen over the last month has changed my opinion on that, nor the centre-back situation. So let's not fall into the trap of being overly optimistic, but again, there is something to be said about not being completely pessimistic. I just feel like, again, we're talking cheaper options, solutions from in-house, when that was never the talk at the start of the window. So I feel like some people have maybe talked themselves into it, coupled with the 6 points from 6 in the league. I'm not there yet. I still think we need the positions personally. Paul Andronicus said, do you see Andre to Wolves? Yes, I have seen that. Somebody else went on to say then that João Gomez wasn't in Wolves matchday squad. Does that mean anything? I really don't know, but he is a name we've been linked to previously. Right, so I'm going to end this poll where we asked, are you happy if Chiesa and Georgi Mamardashvili are the only signings in this window? 76% with 4,190 votes cast have said no, they would not be happy. And 75% there now. So 3/4 of Liverpool fans who are watching this stream right now and vote feel no, they wouldn't be happy. And I'm definitely in that 75%. Now, I try to be balanced and fair. On their own merits, like I've said many times, I'm happy with Chiesa and Mamardashvili. But I still want us to do what we need to do in this window. And let's see what the next 48 hours brings. Kimmich, maybe that's possible, I don't know. I've read mixed things coming out of Germany. Some that he's won around Vincent Kompany and he may get some opportunities. Others that he may move. What we know for certain is this. Stefan Bajcetic is going out on loan. Owen Beck has joined Blackburn on loan for the season. There's still a hope and belief that maybe Nat Phillips could depart before the window shuts. Tyler Morton looks like... See, here's the thing again with Tyler Morton I forgot to mention. If we are of the belief that he's going to be good enough, why are the clubs still open to selling him? Because the only reason that he's not going to Leverkusen is that it's a loan. Liverpool are open to selling him for 20 million plus. So that's why I fail to believe that the club, in their heart of hearts, look at him and think he's the solution. Because he wouldn't have a price tag. He wouldn't be available to be sold if we were so sure that he was going to be that next big thing. And that is why I don't drink the Kool-Aid that's being handed out at the minute, put it that way. There was an option to buy. No, there wasn't. Not in the Leverkusen deal. Not in the one they proposed to Liverpool. Liverpool are open to selling him, but they want a commitment. Not a loan with an option. They want, if you take him now, you're buying him. If you leave Liverpool Football Club, it's going to be on a permanent deal, even after a year's loan. So that's where we're at with him. Options, it has to be cast iron. Liverpool want to guarantee that, okay, we understand that maybe your club finances are as such that you need to kick the can down the road a little. Fair enough, but we'd have to... Liverpool want a guarantee that that deal's going to happen. This is an absurd lie. There is no DM that fits in this squad. I agree with that, Victor. I think there absolutely is ones out there that fits the squad. Ederson is one I've been screaming about all summer. And by the way, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we recorded a podcast episode earlier on with myself and Simon, who you probably know better as Liverpool fan in Japan. And I have to say, it's one of the best episodes I think I've ever recorded with anybody. It's only out on audio. It's only out on the podcast platforms. It was a brilliant conversation, if I do say so myself, between two people who look at Liverpool in very different ways, who have very different thoughts on this transfer window, but we articulated it and debated it in a very open, respectful manner, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope you guys do as well. If you get a chance, check it out on whatever your favourite podcast platform is. It was a really good conversation. We went for about 40 minutes all in. We discussed the window. We looked ahead to the United game. And he's a really good guy. Really intelligent. Really well able to articulate his thoughts. And I'm sure you know of him. If you don't, get across and give him a sub. He's amazing. Liverpool fan in Japan. Really good conversation. Right. Danny, how are we, bro? Said, what would everyone think if Zubimendi did a last minute 180? No Sociedad laid on the guilt trip, but I tell him to do one and go back after changing his mind or not giving his word. So, if I'm him, if I'm Zubimendi, I'm looking at Real Sociedad. I'm seeing Lenormand, gone. Marino, just gone as well, to Arsenal. So, they laid on the guilt trip for him, but they were happy or willing to sell for what was it? I'm trying to remember the fee. 30 million, I think Arsenal paid. So they're not strengthening. They're not building. They're heading backwards. I've watched the first two games they've played this season. One home, one away. Neither full stadiums. I just don't understand an ambitious youngster not backing himself to follow in the footsteps of Alonso. So I think he's made the wrong decision. Would I be open to a 180? Probably. I don't think it'll happen. But look, everybody's allowed to change their mind in life. And everyone's allowed to put their hands up if they think they've made a mistake. It does wind me up a little bit. I don't think he made the right decision. But then again, I don't know what he values in life, you know. One thing I want to bring up really quickly is this potential of an absolutely insane swap deal that could see Sterling going to Manchester United and Jadon Sancho going to Chelsea. I don't know if this has progressed at all over the last 12 hours because I haven't really kept up on it. But in that deal, if that happens, for me, United are having their pants pulled down. United are willing to take a 30-year-old Raheem Sterling on high wages who hasn't been great for the past season or two, and in turn send a young Jadon Sancho who has just gotten to a Champions League final on loan at Dortmund and has his whole career ahead of him. I think that's nuts. Sancho rejected Chelsea to go to Juventus. I think that's a good move for him. I think going over to Juventus is a good move for him. But the fact that was even explored as a possibility from the United side, I think that's absolutely insane to even consider that. Why bring it? And Sterling, if we thought he couldn't go any lower, in our opinion, as a former Liverpool player, being open to potentially going from Liverpool then to City, Chelsea and United. It's like the who's who of every club I despise outside of the Reds, obviously. So yeah, look, if he's going to Juve, that's a far better decision. But the idea of that even being possible blew my mind. Would I take Sancho at Liverpool? No. Because of the human side. You have to ask yourself, has he got an attitude issue? I don't know. But from a footballing perspective, he's more than good enough. But for whatever reason, it didn't click there at United. And even when he kind of came back in under Ten Hag, he didn't. And let's see how he gets on at Juventus. There's no doubt there's a good footballer in there. But it's just a matter of, will we see him enough? Hi from India. You said Turkey today. Is it true? I said Turkey. I mean, there was a link from L'Equipe that said Liverpool had contacted Lyon about Rayan Cherki. That's the only thing I've seen all day today, and I've not seen anything new on it. What's this? So one report said that Sancho is waiting for an offer from Chelsea, even though Juventus continues to pursue him. So I don't know if that's true or not, but keep an eye on that situation as well. What do you think of Bastoni? We are after him for 60 million. Look, Bastoni's a great centre-back. I don't have any information to say that we are after him. I know this is a name that lots of people have been talking about all summer. I don't know anything on it. Would I take him at Liverpool? Yes. I think most of us probably would, but I've nothing as I sit here to indicate that it's possible. Again, don't take that as anything other than me not knowing, but I'd be very surprised. Why is there no news on Chiesa's medical? Why would there be? Again, I think people are looking for stuff that isn't there at the minute. If we found out there was a problem with the medical, we would have known at this point. Clubs don't usually release information about medicals. The media might talk about these things, but clubs can't leak someone's private and confidential medical information. So I wouldn't be concerned, mate. These are complicated procedures with regards to the contract negotiations, finding the guy somewhere to live. There's loads of bits and pieces at play in this deal. I wouldn't be stressed about it. He's only been over today. Sometimes medicals are done over 2 days, and I don't know if that's the case. But don't worry about a problem yet, because there's no indication that there is one. I'm basically trying to be optimistic. Ashley Dooley said, not the position we need, but excited to see Chiesa play. Absolutely. Mate, go back at the start of the summer, and I said many times, I don't know where he ends up, because I had no indication it was going to be Liverpool, but somebody is going to get a bargain this summer with Federico Chiesa. I think I made a joke to say something like it bangs the Spurs, but once it was very clear that Thiago Motta and Juventus weren't going to keep him, or he wouldn't agree a new deal, it was obvious somebody was going to get a bargain. The fact that we've looked at him this late and nobody else has moved, and we've then gone, okay, let's make it happen, I think you have to say, to use the buzzword of the summer, it is opportunistic and it is very good value. I'm all in for it. I think it's a good deal. Just isn't a centre-back or a midfielder. So, GG lads, how are you, my man said? Long time watcher of your content. Don't understand the Bajcetic move. Surely he's our best young option at 6. Weird. So, I think look at it like this. The most important thing for Stefan Bajcetic this season is minutes, minutes, minutes. That's the priority. He missed an entire year last year. So can we guarantee him the playing time to get him back up to full fitness and match sharpness and give him the experience? The answer is most likely no. So then you look around and you think, right, if we loan him out, is he going to get experience that will be valuable to Liverpool? He's going to go to Salzburg, where Pep Lijnders knows all about him. They're in the Champions League. They qualified last night through the qualification round, and they're into the group stages. So he's going to get really good experience. He's going to get a lot of playing time. He'll probably play week in and week out. And then we'll get to see how his body reacts to the rigours of a full season again. I don't think we have the luxury of being able to give him the time. So that's why I think it's a good move. There's no potential whatsoever of a sale. That's not being discussed in any of these deals for Bajcetic. I think a loan move is the right way to go, because we can't give him the minutes. We just can't. I thought Bajcetic is going to Barca. No, it was mentioned that it was an option. Barca came in last minute, tried to hijack the deal. I think Thiago was the intermediary between Barcelona and Liverpool. It only came about because Barcelona's one of their younger players did an ACL last night, and the plan was always for him to go there. And do you know what? I mean this sincerely. I wouldn't trust Barcelona to babysit me dog, let alone send Stefan Bajcetic over there to be developed, because they aren't looking at development for him. They're looking at filling a gap they have, and they will throw him under a bus tomorrow if they don't think he's good enough or gets the minutes. Whereas the patience and the development, in my opinion, would be way better under Pep Linders at Salzburg. I think it's the right move. People seem to forget we signed Mo at a similar age from Italy with very similar stats. I'm by no means saying Chiesa will have that impact, but we seem to have gotten a belter here, said K. Kakarat. I think, look, for 12.5 million all in, including add-ons, I mean, that's think of it this way. We've brought in 50 odd million between selling Sepp van den Berg and Fabio Carvalho, who weren't getting games at Liverpool, and we've taken that and we've brought in a goalkeeper to future-proof ourselves and a winger or attacker to give us options this season. That's good business. It doesn't address the lack of the core business we needed to do in this window, but again, I can't. I'm not somebody who complains for the sake of it. I know some people think I am that guy, but I'm not. I've no interest in being negative about Liverpool unless I feel I need to be. And I see no negatives in those deals. I only see positives. Bajcetic is a Spanish player and going to the second biggest club in Spain. Well, he's not. He's going over to Salzburg. If he delivers, then we'll lose him for sure next year. Well, no, we won't. Because who's going to make us sell him? I mean, there's this weird belief that everyone's just going to leg it from Liverpool. We paid £300,000 to sign him from Celta Vigo. He was the last player we could bring in before those Brexit rules happened. If he went to Barcelona and had a good season, in your scenario, Barca won't be able to afford him. And Liverpool will have no interest in selling him. Because if he went there and did it in the Champions League, that's the solution for us. Bring him back in and away he goes. Honestly, it's just about the right loan move for him. Barca is a big club, of course it is, and the opportunity to go there is, I'm sure, appealing. But will he get game time? Will he really be trusted by Hansi Flick? Is it in his best interests? I would argue the answer is probably no to most of them, and his best interest will genuinely be served by Pep Linders, who actually understands how to develop him and was part of his development anyway. Xavier81 said, I believe Darwin will be sold next season. So where I'm at with Darwin Nunez is this. No more talking. No more grumpiness. Knuckle down. Prove you're good enough. Or you're not. One way or the other. I don't know if the truth is that he was open to that Arsenal move like Matt Thielen mentioned or not. I know it doesn't endear me to him anymore if he was. What I want to hear out of Darwin Nunez's mouth is, I am going to prove myself. I am going to succeed at Liverpool Football Club. I am going to be the number 9. And I am going to ram those doubts down everybody's throats. That's what I want to hear. But most importantly, I want to see it. So, it's on Darwin now. His future's in his own hands. If he can come in, wrestle the jersey away from Diogo Jota, and perform like we know he's capable of, we could have a really good striker on our hands. If he doesn't, then we have to address this issue in the next window or two and maybe cut our losses. But it's on him right now. It's nobody else's fault. You can come off social media and moan about fans giving out all you want. Ultimately, it's your career, your ball's on the line. Knuckle down, do your talking on the pitch, or don't. But that's where I'm at with Darwin. Maybe people think differently, and I want them to succeed. Really, it's just I don't do headaches and drama. I'm sick of it all. Like, just do your job that you're getting handsomely paid for. Put the inflatable round leather thing into the goal, and we'll talk about everything else later. But no more noise, no more strops, no more. Just do your job, knuckle down, and prove that you're worth the money. And if you want to go, then say you want to go. But either way, I feel like some professional footballers are too soft. I feel like they believe that because everything in their life so far had been to the point of everything's great, you're great, we'll move mountains for you, we'll give you loads of money. Sometimes you need a bit of adversity and a knock in life. And he had that, to be fair, when he did his ACL, I think it was, or his knee or whatever, wherever he did at Almeria. And he knuckled down and proved himself at Benfica. That's what I want to see. I want to see that resilience. And no more strops. Just knuckle down and do your job. And stop being lazy. Because that offside against Brentford was lazy. Slot does seem like a no-nonsense guy, said Alex Cooper. He does. And that's why I've always said I really like Arne Slot. I like a ruthless bastard. I do. It's just a trait that I like in people. As long as it's fair. And Arne Slot strikes me as, if you're not doing your job, he's going to tell you you're not doing your job. He's also going to tell you how he thinks you can help you to improve doing your job. But he's not there to blow smoke up their backsides if they're not cutting the mustard. If they're not doing their part of it, then right. Absolutely. Now, Darwin did get a 5-game ban from international fixtures only. David Lynch reported earlier on to say that 5-game ban only applies to international fixtures, and he also has a $20,000 fine, which means no international break for Darwin. He can stay in September at Liverpool and work and train and work and be ready for after the international break to really show us what he's worth. Why not Andre? Wolves have bid about 22 million. I don't know the answer, Colin. We've had the... Look, whatever the reason was where we moved away from Andre, and it could have been that we wanted him at that specific time. Fluminense didn't want to sell because of the Copa Libertadores. But we haven't revisited it, or haven't looked like revisiting it. So I don't know why not. I don't know why the change of heart. But I do know we have a different manager, so maybe that could lean into it somewhat. And also a different recruitment team as well. Essex Copbite said, in my opinion, if Darwin leaves, Jayden will take his spot, oozes class. I agree about Jayden Danns. He oozes class and confidence. But unfortunately at the minute we know he's out with a back injury. But look, it's on Darwin. I know that sounds harsh, but it is. You and I, with all the goodwill in the world, can't do his job for him. It's up to him. Are we linked with any CDMs? Not really. Again, I don't know what's going to happen in these next 48 hours. Like everybody else, I'm reacting to news as it breaks really quickly. But as I sit here right now, I don't know if we're going to make 2 signings for the window closes or no signings before the window closes. 48 hours to go. We've got to get Chiesa done and dusted. That'll be our second edition of the summer, although Mamadashvili obviously is for next year. And as I've tried to say all along, I'm happy about these signings, but they aren't what we needed when the window started. So let's rewind back to June the 14th when the window opened, and the conversations that were being had between fans, journalists, podcasts, YouTubers, was that Liverpool are going into this window looking at 3 positions. A utility forward, a centre-back and a midfielder. Chiesa is the utility forward. That box is ticked. So that's 1 of 3 and the least important of 3 in my opinion. So for me, our friend earlier on who said this is a 3 out of 10 window, I agree. I would rank it at this point as a 3 out of 10 window as well. Not good enough. 1 more, if we brought in a centre-back, I would say it's a 7 out of 10 window. But right now, I feel like the business we've done is great in its own unique standpoint, but it doesn't address what we needed to do. AMA, love this. Said, baby girl on the way in March. Can't wait for a lifetime of match days watching and supporting Liverpool together. She'll surely know who Craig is. I love that. Not the part about me, sorry. That's cool as well, though. But I do love that you shared that with us as well. And, I mean, enjoy it. It's a weird thing as a parent, right? Because you're almost wishing your kid along too quickly. So, your kid's able to sit upright. Then you go, I can't wait for my child to be able to crawl. And then it's, I can't wait for my child to be able to walk. I can't wait for my child to say its first words. You're almost wishing away these important things, but enjoy it. Soak it all in. And thank you for sharing it. Amazing news. Congratulations. What else we got? What about the Champions League draw? Tomorrow, yes, I'll be streaming that. So we'll be starting at 5 to 5 tomorrow. The draw's at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to take you through that draw. So yeah, I'll be here in live for that one. So Premier League clubs have loaned out players with a combined market value of over 500 million. That's mental. Thank you, Mark, for sending that on to me. That is mental. So Gomez from Wolves is an interesting one. I wonder if there's anything to this, and I don't know. Like, people mentioned that he wasn't in the squad for a Wolves match tonight. They're obviously trying to bring in the guy from Fluminense, Andre Trinidad. I don't know if that means anything for us or not. I really don't. Who put me in charge? I did. Don't like it? Know where the door is. But here's the big thing, mate. This is my channel. I do what I want. Say what I want. Interact how I want. Don't like it? Fuck off. Can't be any clearer than that. Have a little time out to think about it, though. We'll start with that. And just remember, respect in here is a minimum. So, I put me in charge. Hope that answers your question. Dave O.C. Cop says he gets an Anelka vibe from Chiesa. I don't give a shite what he thinks, to be honest. I don't really like him. I don't know many people that do either, to be quite frank. Anelka was a deal that I don't understand why we didn't make permanent if we want to bring it up. I feel like we should have signed him on a permanent deal when we had him on loan for the season. But Dave O.C. Cop's opinion on anything I couldn't give a shite about. Do you think Chiesa is what Liverpool need? No, and yes. No, as I said, he isn't the primary business I think we needed to do in this window. But I think it's a good signing. And I think it does give us competition and options on the right side if Mo wants a rest, needs a rest, picks up a knock. Look, I'm more than happy to welcome Federico Chiesa to the club. And on its own merits, I think it's a really good deal. I'm looking forward to see how he settles in and gets on. My expectations are measured, to be fair. But it doesn't address, and it won't distract for me away from what I think were the two priorities this summer, which is midfielder and defence. If we go to another team, I'm going to lose it. Tyler Morton has just driven behind me in his Porsche. Nice. Nice. Good for him. Never really understood the appeal of Porsches, to be honest with you. It's never been my... although the Jeeps look quite nice. Expanded Champions League... Excuse me. Let me get that again for you, Dan. Sorry. Expanded Champions League means more games. We need 2 players for each position. Hence the Chiesa buy. It's good business. I agree, Dan. It is good business, and it is that opportunistic word that we've been speaking about all summer. I don't know how anyone can look at Federico Chiesa for 10 million plus 2 million add-ons and think it's anything other than worth the risk. Especially if his wages that have been reported that he's on at Juve, from their own numbers, is €100,000 or about £80,000 a week. Who's the midfielder? I don't know. Again, as I've said all the way through this stream, there is chatter of a potential midfield incoming. I don't know the names. I'm not the guy for that at the minute. I'm just the guy to react, give you the latest news, discuss it with you. But my information for this window is done. I don't know on the centre-back and I don't know on the midfielder. I'm anxiously waiting like everybody else and hoping that we see a player brought in, particularly at centre-back. I'm also really interested to see what happens with Joe Gomez in this window. Arna can build Nunez up. He made Santi Jimenez look elite, and he ain't. I might be biased, Mexico football hater. So many Latinos there are England, said the Nielsen. Look, as I said many times, mate, we all want Darwin to succeed. He has the opportunity. He's got a fresh start with a new manager as well. At the moment, Diogo Jota is starting for us because he's had more of a pre-season and he looks sharper. But it's up to Darwin. We all want him to succeed. We all want to see Darwin doing what he does best, which is causing chaos and scoring goals. But, you know, it's up to him. I can only repeat myself. Craig, the midfielder that is linked is from PSG. From PSG? No idea. I mean, United are getting Ugarte. PSG? No. Not seeing anything on PSG on my end anyway. Is Raheem Sterling incoming? It better not be. Raheem Sterling can do one. What would you rate this window if we brought in Simican and Kimmich? 8? 8, probably. And now, look, I'm going to be honest and say I don't know all that much about Mo Simican, but I do believe if the club think he's good enough and bring him in, he must have something about him. So I think that would be an 8 window. We'd have addressed the positions we needed addressing. Jury will be out on how successful or not they are, but yeah, it would be a good window. Certainly it would make me feel like we can go into this season not having to worry about an injury costing us an opportunity or a chance to win something. So I'd certainly feel more optimistic. Which pot 1 team do you think we're getting in the Champions League draw? I don't know. I don't think about these things because they're all so random and hypothetical that there is no correct answer, so I haven't really given it any thought. Everything is plausible except for an English team. So other than that, and even at that, I think that there is some weird world where in some mad random way that could be an issue. But what I do know is that apparently the Champions League draw tomorrow, we'll know who we're playing, but we won't know when for a couple of days, I think. Do I have any predictions for the United game on Sunday? I do, and I'm going to record them for the preview, which will come out on Saturday. I'll give you a little quick one, though. 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1 win for us. Speaking with Sai earlier on the podcast, he went 3-1 to Liverpool. I think it'll be a narrow win. But look, I will absolutely take any win at Old Trafford. To go into the international break off the back of 3 wins from 3 would be brilliant. To beat United going into it would make it even better. And it would make my holiday a lot more enjoyable next week as well. Mohammed, you got the first part of Zubi wrong, mate. You got the first part wrong. Why are FSG acting like they're bankrupt? But nevertheless, I appreciate the business FSG have done. So, when I spoke with a few people from the journalistic side about this summer's transfer window, most of them said to me, if Liverpool don't do business in this window, it will be because of Edwards and Hughes and not the owners. I think responsibility always lies with the owners regardless, but that's the view that I've gotten back from a lot of journalists this summer, is if we do or don't do business, it'll be because of Edwards and Hughes, not because there wasn't money provided. Sorry I'm late, but what's this about a midfielder? Just that midfielder chats are heating up, that's all. I've said this a few times tonight and happy to repeat it for you. Lots of people have told me that there is a possibility of midfielders potentially happening. But I don't know of one confirmed bona fide name that I feel comfortable putting out there. So I'm in reaction mode at the minute where I'm just looking, waiting, trying to see what the media are saying and trying to see if anyone spotted any planes in the sky that are heading our way. So yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. Excited, nervous, but I'm very adamant that this window hasn't been good enough as it sits right now. Where are you on Halls, Craig? For this next month, we're going to Lanzarote. In October, I'm going to Turkey. But next week, we're going to Lanzarote. What have we got? When do you think Chiesa will be announced? Tomorrow, most likely. Yeah, I would imagine the club like an 9 a.m. announcement, so probably tomorrow while I'm fast asleep is my guess. Colin, let me get your comment up on screen, bro. I'm staying on, by the way, till around 11ish because we've got the League Cup draw that's going to be happening in a few minutes' time as well. So we're going to be keeping you up to date on who Liverpool's opponents will be in the third round. Colin said, "Evening, Craig. Absolutely chuffed with Chiesa. Hopefully more to come." I echo that sentiment. I think Chiesa is a very good signing on its own merits. But look, I'm not going to let a shiny new toy distract me from the goals of this window, which was centre back and defender. Am I coming back from Turkey with a full head of hair? The irony is, and I've said this so many times, I have a full head of hair. I don't need to go and get any hair implants. If I did, I wouldn't have any problem saying it though, trust me. No, I'm going over to Turkey just for a vacation, but I wouldn't rule out someday going to Turkey and getting a full set of teeth done. But no plans on the hair front. And even if I was bald, I wouldn't have any problem saying if I needed to get it done. I'd be open about it. I don't think it's anything any man should ever be embarrassed about. If something makes you feel a little bit insecure and you've got a way to remedy that, be it getting your nose done, getting your teeth done, whatever it might be, you be the best version of you. I'm never going to judge anybody. If something makes you feel good and improves your life and confidence, do it. Sean said, getting the teeth done. Turkey, look, someday perhaps. That's certainly not any reason for this visit. The reason for this visit is simply I haven't been to Turkey in about 4 or 5 years and I miss going over there. And myself and my wife are getting a week away with just the two of us, which is very rare. I think this is the second time in our marriage that we've managed to get a week away with just the two of us. So that's all this is. But in the future, absolutely. If I needed to get the teeth done, I'd be certainly straight over there having a look. What's Lanzarote? It's an island off, well, it's owned by Spain. It's off the coast of Africa. It's part of the Canary Islands. Do you reckon Costas will leave for first team football? I mean, we're running out of time to potentially find a replacement. It's certainly been something that's been spoken about as a possibility. Even when I speak with David Lynch, he's always had an inkling, and he's always said it's just a feeling he has himself that possibly Costas could move on in this window. But as I sit here right now, I'm certainly not aware of anything. Kaya said, Turkey is great. I'm a bit biased. Recently visited my nana Turkey. It was great. I love Turkey. Honestly, I love the Aegean coast. Can't wait to get back over there in October. What are my thoughts on Curtis? So look, honestly, I just don't think Curtis Jones is going to ever fully be the player we hope for. He's seen flashes of what he's capable of. Injuries and stuff have stopped his development a little bit. I think he hangs on to the ball too much. Look, I'd sell him tomorrow. I can only be honest. If we got an offer of 30 to 35 million pound for Curtis Jones, I'd sell. Because I think at this point it's more hope than expectation for me that he may come good. Do I think that there will be a surprise signing in these last days of the transfer window? I think there will be at least a story. Whether that story translates into a last minute signing or not, but I think we will get an event or something. Even if it's, I don't know. I have a feeling something is going to happen. I don't know if it'll fall through, if we'll get over the line, but certainly there's no vibes coming out that we're done business wise. Chiesa's dad has scored at Anfield. Good. Hopefully his son follows suit and scores many. Did you ask us to remind you of poll last night? I did, but after the window closes, Danny. It was a poll about Liverpool's hardest ever midfielder, or toughest ever player, sorry. And it was one we're going to do after the transfer window. But thanks for reminding me anyway. Could Chiesa be registered in time to be in the squad at the weekend? Yes, if he was registered before, from my understanding, Friday lunchtime. It's 48 hours before the game. Somebody explained it in the chat the other night as well. I don't expect him to take any part in it, to be honest with you, because he hasn't played football this season yet. He was at the Euros, obviously, but he hasn't played for Juventus, so I wouldn't be expecting him to be getting minutes against United. But to answer your question, as I said, yes, he could be registered in time to play. What's your theoretical view on football taken on an NFL style trade draft system? Is never going to happen. It's never ever going to happen. The reason why is there's not the school/collegiate setup that you have in America for sports like NFL. So yeah, I don't think it's ever going to happen. The whole idea of where do you draft them from? Do you know, this is the point. Like, there is no system in place. So no, I think football, and I don't want the European football to be Americanized too much as well. We have our own way of doing things. You can always adapt, of course, as you move on in life. Salary caps, look, there's a conversation to be had there, but I would argue as well that with how clever and wealthy some football club owners are these days, they're always going to look for a loophole or a way around any of these barriers that are put up in front of them. So, yeah, look, we need to sort out FFP, for sure. We need to make sure football clubs are sustainable and around for the next generations, but it's more the greed of football and the greasy nature of it that annoys me. Like, it keeps me awake at night thinking of the amount of money agents take out of the football world and clubs. Ridiculous sums of money for doing their job, for facilitating a move. It never ceases to amaze me how much some of those agents get from clubs for doing their job. And I've never understood how this isn't on the player to pay these agents. Why it has to fall on the clubs. That's something I think we could certainly learn from American sports. Not be paying agents these absolutely ridiculous sums of money just for facilitating a deal on top of the fee for the player. Did you see Goldfish's earnings? Do I make the same? I did see the Daily Mail piece, to be fair, and look, if there's one thing I've said about him all the time is I don't begrudge him a penny. I don't begrudge anybody a penny they make in life. He's an arsehole. He's not a nice dude, and there's a lot I will and have said about him. But someone's earnings and their money, I mean, have at it. I don't care what my neighbour earns or what somebody else in the industry earns. That's up to them. They do what they do. They've had the success they have and they work hard. I don't begrudge anyone a penny of it. But my issue with that man has always been that he's a lying piece of shit, in my opinion. And also a coward. Let me put that word in there as well. Coward. Rather than facing up or dealing anything with people in person, he likes to send others to do his dirty work or get solicitors' letters because he hasn't got the balls to front up to somebody and have an open, honest conversation. You know, I know a lot of people that have departed the United stand, and very few of them have had a face-to-face conversation or an exit interview on their way out. Unlike every single person, bar one, that has left this channel, will always be a face-to-face, look you in the eye and talk to you and treat you respectable as a human being. You know, but I'm not a pussy, so. I've been watching your show since you were on his channel, mate. Thank you, Morton. I'm glad that that at least came about from it, mate, and I appreciate your support. Can't just say that the lad lied. Lied about what? See, I can say whatever I want. The entitlement of you weird little dude, to think I have to tell you something just because you don't know it. I'll say whatever I want. whenever I want and however I want. And I owe you fucking nothing. So I can say he lied all I want. Ask Ben how Ben left the United stand. Ask people at TalkSport about him. I'll say whatever I want. I'm not the one sending solicitors letters threatening people like a little bitch. Cowering rather than picking up a phone. That wasn't me. I'm not the one giving out false information about people. I'm not the one trying to ruin people's reputations and destroy them with lies. So again, I don't have to explain anything. I know what I know, and I'm happy that I can put my head on my pillow and know what I know. If you want to know about it, then you need to do your own undercover investigations or your own work. He is a nasty, horrible little shit who hasn't got a pair of balls. That's it. Social experiment. Yeah, social experiment. Do you remember that lie? That's one lie we can talk about, absolutely. Social experiment, right. Manchester City sent a cease and desist letter to Brent about the 115 charges, according to him. He also went on to say, I'll talk about it all on my podcast. Make sure you come across and listen to my podcast. On the podcast, which, by the way, I haven't listened to, but I'm aware of, he said it was a social experiment. You got caught in your own web of fucking lies and you tried to say it's a social experiment. You're a social experiment, would be my answer to that. But my God, it's not, honestly, it's nonsense. Yeah, and I don't want to talk about him anymore because, as I said, I don't give him a minute's thought. I only brought him up tonight because somebody commented on it. On his earnings, and which I've even said I don't begrudge him a penny of it. Do you? But nobody in our industry gets on with him. Does that not tell you something? Social experiment. That's that one. That one was priceless, to be fair. Yeah. Right. Evening, bro. Hope you're well. Any news on a mid? Nothing new. No, nothing new, mate. Lots of conjecture. Lots of watch this space kind of stuff. But as I said, I can't sit here and say a name to you. So, the only words I would say to you guys is one line. Our client, the United Stand. That's what we opened one day from a solicitor. Our client, the United Stand. Went on to spout a load of bollocks and actually had to put the solicitor in their place as well because they made a big mess of it all. But honestly, next time you want to try and threaten somebody, don't just Google employment solicitor and pick the first one. That's my little gift to you, Brent. Don't trust your minions to do it for you because they're stupid. Googling, and I'm not joking, we looked this up. Googling employment solicitor, he found the first one. He literally picked the first one and went with that. Don't believe me? Google it. It's absolutely priceless. That's how lazy, cowardly, and pathetic he is. Right, Carl, thank you for your super sticker, mate. Appreciate it. Should sell Jones and keep either Morton or Bajcetic. I mean, look, I'm open to selling Curtis Jones. Am I imagining this, or was there some mad connection linking him with Arsenal last season? Maybe I'm pulling this one at my backside and I could be wrong on it, but I swear there was something once saying that Arsenal were interested in Curtis Jones. I'm almost certain though. Anyway, yeah, I agree. I don't see Curtis Jones making it, but he certainly seemed excited about the type of football Arne Slot was going to be playing. Unfortunately, you know, look, I'd love him to be a success. Of course I would. But I haven't seen enough other than that one brief purple patch he had. And what is he now? 23, 24? Kevin Myler said, we will buy a DM. I feel it in my plums. I hope you are right, my friend, because a DM or a centre-back turns this into a far more palatable window, in my opinion. Is there a buyback clause for Bobby Clark? Yes, there is, Ross. There's a buyback clause, and I don't know the percentage, but I think there's a sell-on clause there as well. The thing about Bobby Clark, though, is even if we do have the buyback clause, I struggle to believe that Bobby Clark would want to come back to Liverpool, because, you know, he seemed like he wanted out when he was posting that black and white image, and he got his move. And to be fair, he's playing Champions League football. He's working with a coach in Pep Linders who certainly knows him. And I've always liked Bobby Clark. I never understood why we sold him. I would have loaned him, but there is a buyback clause and a sell-on percentage, but 17.5%. There you go, 17.5%. Is this anger because you're jealous of Mark? Have I not explained it to you? I've no anger towards him one sec. And why would I be jealous of him? Like, honestly, genuine question. What have I got to be jealous of? If you talk about the money, I don't value myself and my worth as a human being by a bank balance. I value myself by the company I keep, the people that surround me, the people I love who love me. And no, mate, you lads can keep going around talking about this all you want, but the fact of the matter is, he's not very liked. I know the real him. I know more about him than you'll ever know. And I don't need to justify myself around Goldbridge in any way, shape or form. The fact that you fucking idiots keep mentioning me in the same breath as him is just doing me a favour, because you're putting me up to this level. I don't care about him. It doesn't give me a minute's thought. And I've no jealousy of him, because I'm a good human being. People who I have worked with like me. So, and as I said, I'm not a coward. I'll look people in the eye and I'll deal with them in person. Not behind solicitors' letters like a little coward. Not hiding behind emails who won't talk to his own staff. So no, mate, I am absolutely not jealous in any way, shape or form of him. Why would I be? What is there to be jealous of? The money, as I said, I don't value myself with what my bank balance is. In your theory, in your real weird world, the richest people in the world are the best people in the world. Is that what we're supposed to believe? It certainly isn't the case that those with the most money are always the nicest people, mate. I think we figured that out over the last 10 or 20 years. Look, I'm grateful for what I've got in life. I'm grateful for what I have and who I have. Jealousy isn't a trait that I carry. Particularly about somebody I've nothing to be jealous of. So that's the honest answer. If you choose to think otherwise or not, again, that's on you, mate. But I'm very happy with my lot in life. I'm very happy with my family, my online family, the business we're building up, the community we have. I'm happy. Ryan Cherky, any news on him? There was often the opposite, to be honest. The opposite of what? I don't... Again, if you want to say something, mate, put in the full comment rather than half a comment that I could misinterpret, and I don't want to do that to someone. So, Ryan Cherky, any news on him? There was a story from L'Equipe. Let me just grab it here for you. Where is it gone? Sorry, I'm scrolling all the way back through the day to try and find this. Here it is. So, there was a report in L'Equipe that said Liverpool have made inquiries for Ryan Cherky. That's the only thing I've seen, mate, all day today on that one. So, yeah. Look, it doesn't make any sense that we need another attacker at this point. But I don't know if this interest or this apparent contact with Leon was before or after the Chiesa stuff. Groundskeeper Willie. Connor's going to love you, mate, because he's a massive Simpsons fan and he'll love that little reference. New to your channel, loving the clarity and no BS attitude. Taylor referees the game fair Sunday and him being on his home turf. Look, I don't know Anthony Taylor and I'm not going to try and question the man's character. All I'll say is I don't think it's a great look for the PGMOL having an Altrincham fan from that neck of the woods refereeing a game in Old Trafford with us, and I just don't think it's a good look. But I have a lot of respect for Anthony Taylor, particularly with how he refereed and dealt with the Christian Eriksen situation, which you know, you're all well aware it was a very difficult situation during the Euros, and I thought he handled it impeccably. But he's also been chased in stadiums by the likes of Mourinho, so clearly some issues are there around Anthony Taylor's performances, but I just hope we're talking about the game from the perspective of we won or we lost it, and nothing to do with the referee. You know, if we lose to United and we lose to United, then we take it on the chin. But I just don't want another massive game being spoken about like the Spurs game where we had 2 reds, like, and again, these weren't Taylor, like the lack of a penalty for the Doku kick on McAllister, or the handball from Odegaard. These are all things I don't want to see again this season, because they were absolutely ridiculous and very clearly incorrect, every single one of them. Christopher, so Craig, your take on the deals we made. I think Georgie is very smart business and Chiesa for the price is alright, but in my opinion, not what we need. I'm in that boat as well, mate. On their own unique and individual merits, I think they're 2 very good deals. But it doesn't address what we needed to do in this window. Chiesa maybe a little bit. It was one of those utility forward options we spoke about. So I'll give them their 1 out of 3 for that one. But we need to get at least one of the other 2 positions sorted for me to feel as optimistic as I'd like to feel. Sorry, struggling to get the words out. It's been a long month. He's not worth talking about. You're the bigger man. He only came up because somebody asked me a question about him. I had no intention of mentioning his name at any point, but somebody sent in a super chat asking me about it, and you know, I've got to read and answer the question. So, as I said, I truly don't begrudge him or anybody else their money and their success for the work that they do. I don't. And I hope all of you chase and live your dreams as well. But I just, you know, we have history and I don't like them. Why don't the PGMOL want to avoid these sticky situations? What was the other case where it was said Luton said their worries about the ref and that ended by the ref making a mess during the game? There have been so many occasions where I think the PGMOL have missed a trick. Already this season, we've seen them not follow their own rules. In a couple of games I've watched, we've seen a rule where the ball boys are supposed to not be able to give the balls to players. They're supposed to leave them on the little cones that are left around the pitch. In one game, I'd seen Harry Maguire intentionally throw the ball off the cone to slow down a counter-attack and not get booked. And I'd seen a ball boy, when it was still 0-0 at Old Trafford, rolling the ball to the goalkeeper to make him take the goal kick quicker. They're not even enforcing their own rules, the PGMOL. The handball last week that wasn't given for against Newcastle, the goal that was ruled out for Bournemouth, was a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. The fact the referee wasn't asked to go and look at it and judge himself, the fact that they thought that was so clear that they didn't even need to ask the referee to go into the monitor, is a disgrace. And they know it. The Joelinton clothesline was a disgrace. All of these things the PGMOL know are wrong, and the pundits know are wrong. But yet we still have to listen to Dermot Gallagher tying himself up into knots trying to justify these. Or I have to listen to that gobshite that already admitted that he didn't do his job. Mike Dean did not send Anthony Taylor to the monitor because he didn't want to get his mate in trouble. And I'm supposed to take advice and believe the word of these guys. Dermot Gallagher, no issues with regards to not doing his job in the past. Mike Dean admitted, I did not do my job. I did not send the referee to the monitor when I was a clear hair pull because I didn't want my mate to get grief. That impacted a game. It impacted the authenticity and the, what's the word I'm looking for? Credibility of the game. And what do they do at Sky? They reward him by giving him a job on the panel talking about refereeing decisions. What message does that send to anybody else? What message does that put out into the world? Go there, do a shit job, admit you didn't do your job, and still get handed a cushy number. But I have to listen to the moral bullshit from Sky about removing hate, say it, see it, and all this other crap that they don't practice what they preach. Baffles me. They're all great at telling us what to do and how we should live, but they don't follow it. They don't act on it themselves. So yeah, that's my take on the PGMOL. A bunch of spoofers and not fit for purpose. Sorry, that is something I will admit gets me on tilt and puts me on a rant. When we get talking about referees, yeah, that does push my buttons. It really does, because season after season, it's we're hearing about the improvements we're going to get, but we never see them, or they last a week and then they go back to the old ways. Funny, for me, the only mistake I can slide is Diaz goal not given. The rest of the mistakes cannot understand. So the Diaz goal not being given was a human error that I can well believe it was a miscommunication about what they were looking at. And okay, fair enough. That's a mistake. But I'll never understand how Martin Odegaard moving his arm towards the ball and gesturing his body around to block the ball to stop us scoring was not deemed an intentional handball, nor was it deemed even enough to send the ref to the monitor. How can you believe there's integrity when they even said he's moving away from the ball as he's moving his arm around the ball? It's just mental. Honestly, it's just... Yeah, I hate the Premier League referees. Do you know who I don't mind, actually? Jared Gillett. I don't mind him. And I watched the programme the other day where they did that trial, you know, with the camera on his little ear monitor thing. And I actually think Jared Gillett came across very well. Seems like a really sincere referee. I think he's one of the better Premier League referees. I think he's the first referee outside of the UK to ever be given Premier League games. But yeah, him, I think he's quite decent. Real Sociedad lost at home again. But, you know, mountains, so, you know, it doesn't matter if you're mid-table doing nothing. You've got mountains there, so enjoy the hiking, because you won't be climbing up that Champions League mountain anytime soon, Martin. How Doku never got a red card or pen on Maka. And again, Jimmy, mate, I would ask how the ref wasn't asked to go have a look at it. That's the key part in those two decisions for me. And the reason I think is because they know if the ref's gone to that monitor, he's giving a penalty on both occasions. So the fact he wasn't sent to the monitor, it's just nonsense. And even the justification for the Doku kick, when you hear the VAR's language, it's just nonsense. Right, where are we at? We should have another look at Zubimendi in January. It's hard to talk about the Zubimendi situation without knowing the reasoning given to Edwards and Hughes. You know, we don't know what the conversations were about his future and about why he decided to stick with Sociedad. We know that the manager sat him down, spoke with him about the lifestyle that he has, the quality of life that he has, the fact that, you know, he's adored by his hometown fans. Lots of very understandable things. But my argument would be Zubimendi gets to become a Sociedad player because he's got talent and ambition and he's worked hard at that. I don't understand how he felt like taking the next step in his career and move him to a club like Liverpool who will be in the Champions League, who will put you on the world stage even more. I just feel like it was the wrong decision, but it isn't my life to live. And if he can sleep well at night and feels happy with his decision, then more power to him, sincerely. But from a career perspective, it feels like he made the wrong decision. But if him and his family are happy, then he's already won at life. So, all good. Question being, you're from Ireland. Do you follow the Irish League? And if so, Who do I like in terms of teams? Do I follow the Irish League? I look at the results. That's kind of where I'm at. Shelbourne would be the club that I would say I would have the closest affinity to. Right, by the way, we're only 200 odd likes away from 2,000, so if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Most importantly, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. It was his wife. And again, I totally understand that. If they feel like their family is all happy and set up and content, that's fine. You know, it's their life to live, and if they're happy with it, who am I to question it, you know? From a professional level, I think he made the wrong decision, but if it's a quality of life thing and he's happy, more power to him. He's still getting to live the dream, isn't he? A professional footballer at his hometown club. So yeah, genuinely, I don't have any ill feelings to him. I just feel if he's an ambitious lad, he made the wrong decision. Is Bajcetic going on loan to Barca? It's being talked about, but the belief is he'll still go to Salzburg unless something changes very quickly. I think Salzburg's the better move for him on loan as well, Paddy, because I think he's going to get more game time. He's going to get a better experience, in my opinion, going to Salzburg. More game time, a coach that already knows him and knows he can trust him. Champions League football again as well, same as he would get there at Barca. And I just think more minutes for his development. So if I'm his representative, look, Barca's a big club. It's always going to be tempting. But for his development, with his future at Liverpool, I would say Salzburg's the better move. Craig, if the Doku kick had gone the other way, in other words, McAllister had done that to Doku, then the ref would have given a penalty without question. Well, look, I think a lot of us probably feel that, but all we can talk about is what did happen. And what did happen was the refs didn't do their job, or the VAR didn't do their job. Do you think we'll sign a centre-back or CDM in the next couple of days? Sounds like a poll suggestion. Yeah, I'm happy to do a poll for the last 20 minutes on that. 1 second. 1 second, mate. Let me just get the poll written out for you. Just filling in all these answers. 1 sec. Right, so what else happens in this window? No more signings, centre-back, midfielder, or different position. They're the options that I'm going to put up for the poll. For the remainder, you guys vote away and let me know what you think will happen over the remainder of this window. West Ham at home in the League Cup. There you go. So that's the draw. West Ham at home in the League Cup, third round. There you go. That's who Liverpool have been drawn against. It isn't the easiest of draws, but you're always looking for a home draw for me in these games. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I'm always delighted when I hear it's a home draw because I know the guys and girls in the Auto Cup schemes will get another opportunity to go to a game. So, yeah, that's it. Look, it's not the easiest draw we could have hoped for, but you're at home, so let's wait and see what happens. Always a Red said, love what you said about Zubimendi. If he chose not to be a part of Liverpool because of family or whatever have you, we're humans first and wish the best for him. Now, let's sign a centre-back and CDM. Exactly. From the human angle, Always a Red, totally get it. It's disappointing for us, of course, because we would have loved to have had him brought in. But, you know, if he chose to give his family the quality of life they like and are happy with, and, you know, it's difficult to question that, isn't it? It just sucks that it, you know, it was there so close and didn't happen. But from his perspective, I understand it. Again, lots of stuff about Turkey. Again, all I can say is L'Equipe have mentioned that we'd made contact, but I don't know if this was before or after the Chiesa stuff happened. So, and as just confirmed, they're West Ham at home in the League Cup, third round. What's Mark saying? Games will be the week of September 23rd. So if you want to stick that in your diaries, our game against West Ham will be week of September 23rd. So thank you for that, Mark. Every other team in Europe got non-prem opposition. It's a draw. I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, it is a draw. And look, let's be quite honest about this as well. You would be expecting us to beat West Ham at home. So, yeah, look, it isn't the easiest draw in the world, but it's an entertaining game. It's an interesting game, and let's wait and see. And most likely, it's probably going to be on TV as well, which is a good thing. So, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Apparently, we've inquired about Bruno Guimaraes. It would be a big ballsy signing if it was pulled off, but as I said, mate, I don't know as of right now. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like everybody else, what's going to happen in the next 2 days and 18 minutes, because that's all that's left. What have we got? What's your thoughts on the new kit launch today? So, I don't like it because of the Nike tick that you've mentioned. I feel bad saying that because, of course, that Nike tick is there as a nod to how far women's sport and football has progressed, and it's part of Nike's range. So, the sentiment behind that, of course, I can get on board with. But the actual look of it on the jersey, it just ruins it. I just don't like it because of that. It's because of European games colliding, so the way they've done it, big teams can't draw each other. Just the top six, Lisa, couldn't draw each other. Any team in European competition couldn't draw each other. But at least we got a home draw, which is always the first thing you look for in any domestic cup competition. Have I seen the pots for the Champions League? Yeah, I have them open here in front of me. So pot 1, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, PSG, Liverpool, Inter, Dortmund, Leipzig and Barcelona. Pot 2, Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Juventus, Benfica, Arsenal, Club Brugge, Shakhtar Donetsk and AC Milan. Pot 3, Feyenoord, Sporting, PSV Eindhoven, Dinamo Zagreb, Red Bull Salzburg, Lille, Red Star Belgrade, Young Boys and Celtic. Pot 4, Slovan Bratislava, AS Monaco, Sparta Prague, Aston Villa, Bologna, Girona, Stuttgart, Sturm Graz and Stade Bristol. I don't know who that is. You know we're going to end up getting Feyenoord, right? They're pot 3, I think, so we'll get one team from pot 1. You know, that could be any of the teams basically outside of Manchester City, ideally. Although there is some weird scenario where that could happen. So yeah, one team from pot 1. And then let's see what happens. The draw is going to be tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So we will be live at 5 to 5 to take you through it. Are you the only person worried about Chiesa and the medical test? I don't know why you're worried other than for the sake of worrying. If you have a reason to worry, worry. But we don't have a reason to worry at this point. And medical tests can often be done over 2 days as well. It's important to point that out. So I've no belief or indication that anything's wrong there. I expect this deal to go through. You know, it's not like he did his ACL last year and is only coming in. He's had a full season with it. Let's wait and see. I don't think there's going to be any issue with it, to be honest. Why is Barca in pot 1? Because of the European record and their coefficient. I just know we're getting Real. Look, if we get Real Madrid, sound. Remember, we're going to play 8 games against 8 different teams. So whoever we do get, it's not like before. You don't play them at home and then away. In the group stage, you're going to play 8 different teams. So if you get Real Madrid as one of the games, it's only 1 of 8. So it'd still be an interesting game though, wouldn't it? Even in the group stages. Van Dijk had ACL. You'd sign him, no? I mean, just talking about Van Dijk now at 33, signing him's another conversation, but I've no concerns about Chiesa's medical. I think people are just getting worried because of the Fekir situation and a few others in the past, but as I said, get worried when there's something to get worried about, but as of right now, I would assume everything's going to plan. Explain the new format. Google it. I mean, what? It's not on me, mate, to explain the new Champions League format to everyone when I don't really fully understand it either. All I can say to you is we're going to have 8 group games against 8 different teams, 4 home, 4 away, and there's an extra round put in after that in the knockout stages. But I'm sure somebody else can explain that to you way better than me, so best to Google it and have a look. Right, so let me take you through the full Carabao Cup draw. Blackburn versus Sheffield Wednesday, Preston versus Fulham, Everton versus Southampton, QPR versus Crystal Palace, Stoke versus Fleetwood, Brighton versus Wolves, Wimbledon against Newcastle, Chelsea against Barrow, Liverpool West Ham, Manchester City Watford, Arsenal Bolton, Manchester United Barnsley, tricky tie that for United, 50-50, could go either way, Wickham versus Aston Villa, Coventry versus Tottenham, and Walsall versus Leicester, Brentford versus Leyton Orient. So that's the draw. Rigged so Liverpool get the toughest team. Mate, if we can't beat West Ham, we shouldn't be winning that. So I don't do the conspiracy theory stuff. So I think Liverpool got drawn against West Ham. That's the way the draw went. And if we can't beat West Ham, well, we shouldn't be winning any of the domestic cup competitions anyway. So that's the way I look at it. We're at home. If we don't beat them, we've no right winning the competition or thinking we can win it anyway. So when are we going back to Adidas? Next season. Next season. I can't wait. Yeah, you've probably seen the footy headlines leaked Adidas goalkeeper shirt for next year. Maybe you haven't. If you haven't, have a look at it. But yeah, next season Liverpool will be back in the 3 stripes, which personally I can't wait for. What else have we got? Who's my favourite player at the minute? Probably McAllister and Alisson. Probably those two. Did we sign Chiesa 100%? No, the deal's not 100% inked and finished and announced yet. He flew in today. I don't know if he's undergoing part of or all of his medical, but he's over and it's happening. Have I seen the Darwin ban? It's 5 games and it's only for international competitions, and he also has a $20,000 fine. So David Lynch, to be fair, was the first one we'd seen reporting this earlier on, and I'll read it out to you in its entirety. 1 second. He said, Darwin Nunez handed a 5-match ban and a $20,000 fine for his involvement in the clashes that followed Uruguay's Copa America defeat to Colombia in July. The ban will only count for international competition, so again, it won't impact Liverpool. It will impact us in a positive way, actually, for the next couple of transfer or international breaks, because he doesn't have to travel over to Uruguay, so he gets to stay and work on the training ground, which surely will benefit us. Chelsea got sanctioned by UEFA. So I'm not sure if the sanction has happened yet, but the Times have reported that Chelsea are facing a challenge to comply with UEFA's financial rules after the European governing body confirmed that it does not allow clubs to register income from selling assets to sister companies. So you may remember they sold a couple of hotels to themselves. The Premier League allowed that. Europe apparently not. So I don't know what that means for Chelsea between now and the window shutting. But it does look to me like all of Chelsea's business in this window has been preparing for a potential transfer ban of some type. So let's just wait and see what happens. Any news on, I think you meant to say Silva, the centre-back. The only news that came in there this evening around Antonio Silva was that Leipzig are looking at Antonio Silva according to RMC Sport in France. Anfield Sector posted that negotiations are ongoing between Benfica and Leipzig over a loan and a mandatory option to buy, and the defender is open to going to Leipzig. I mean, if they're looking at him, surely to God, if he's willing to go to Leipzig, I think Liverpool should be all over this. But I've nothing to indicate that they are. So, my friends, I'm going to go record a video giving you all the bullet points of tonight's stream. It'll be out in about 15-20 minutes. As always, thank you so much to everyone that joined us. I will be back for the Champions League draw tomorrow. We'll be going live about 5 minutes before it starts, so about 4:55 tomorrow afternoon. Great podcast episode went out today. Check your podcast platform of choice. Myself and Simon, or as you may know him, Liverpool fan in Japan. Really good chat. Really enjoyed it. So do check out that. And of course, go over and subscribe to Simon's channel as well. And one last thing before we finish up. Don't forget the tickets are on sale right now for a show in Liverpool, November 15th. About half the tickets are gone already. So if you want to come along, you know what to do. You can get your tickets with the link in the description or pinned to the top of the chat. Let's see what the next 48 hours has in store. It's going to be hectic. Hopefully, we're going to get some good news. I'll chat to you tomorrow. Much